Good morning. I'm Anna Marie De La Vega. This is Focus, and today we're going to talk about a lot of things you need to know as you get older, things to make your life better, make your life easier, maybe even bring in income you did not know was accessible. And we're going to do that by talking with Age Well Middle Tennessee. Our first of two guests is Grace Smith. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Age Well. What is Age Well? Who does it serve? Let's start just from the beginning.
Sure. Age Well Middle Tennessee is a nonprofit that serves 13 counties in the Middle Tennessee region. We are formerly known as the Council on Aging, and we rebranded several years ago to better convey our passion for helping people age well. And we are a trusted resource for older adults and their families, and we're also a catalyst for addressing unmet needs of older adults.
Like what?
A great example of how we address unmet needs is several years ago, we convened a coalition because there were not enough options for senior transportation.
Oh.
It's something that had been discussed among businesses and nonprofits for about 10 years.
Yep.
And our agency brought together a coalition of people led by Ed Cole, one of our board members at the time, and we studied models around the country. We looked at where the gaps in transportation were here locally, and we planned and launched Senior Ride Nashville as a new nonprofit.
Oh.
Senior Ride recruits volunteers and also has contract drivers who are vetted who provide rides for older adults in Davidson County who can no longer drive or choose not to drive.
Yeah.
And it's just a wonderful service that fills a critical need, whether people need to go to the grocery store, they need to go to their doctor's office, or they want to go get their hair done.
Yeah.
Things that are really just important for quality of life.
Including mental health.
Yes.
Just to feel better.
And to stay connected to the community. I know when my grandparents were older and they both had to stop driving because of different medical conditions, their world shrank.
Yeah.
And they weren't able to go have lunch with a friend or go places that they wanted to go. And so Senior Ride Nashville is a solution that we're really proud of helping launched to keep people connected to the community and to the people that they love.
Is it a free service? Is it a low-cost service?
It's a low-cost service.
Okay.
It was designed to be affordable.
Yes.
And so there is a small membership fee that people pay to receive the service, and then a per ride trip charge. But certainly, if anyone has difficulty paying, there are means to help support them and support the rides that they need.
How old do you have to be to use Senior Ride?
It's a combination of age and living in Davidson County and unable to drive anymore.
Yeah.
And we launched Senior Ride in 2017. As its own nonprofit, and they do a tremendous job. So I encourage you to let people know about them.
Definitely.
But that's a good example of how we serve as that convening and catalyst agency when there are unmet needs. One of the needs that we launched in 2024 is financial security. We convened a group in 2023 because we kept getting calls from older Nashvillians who were really struggling to make ends meet. They needed more affordable housing.
Yep.
Groceries have gone up. Housing costs have gone up. Healthcare costs have gone up. And so we partnered with United Way and convened a number of agencies, government, nonprofit, to say, what can we do to better serve older Nashvillians who are struggling financially. And so last year, with the help of Mayor O'Connell, we launched a new program called RESET, which stands for Raising Economic Security to Enjoy Thriving.
Nice.
Anyone who is 50 and older in Nashville, a resident of Davidson County, can call us and receive free financial counseling through the Financial Empowerment Center. They can also receive help finding out if they're eligible for benefit programs that exist. We were shocked to learn from the National Council on Aging that every year there's $30 billion in available benefits that are unused because older adults either don't know about them, they don't know how to apply, or they need help applying. So we're talking about things like Medicare savings programs, SNAP, the LIHEAP program that can help with utilities.
Wow.
So programs that are out there that unless you know about them and know how to apply, you may not be aware that you qualify. So Reset is something that we're excited to launch as a collaborative network of agencies that's helping older adults improve their financial security.
That's fantastic, especially if they're on a set income. Their income does not rise in accordance with the cost of groceries or the cost of living or the housing, things like that.
Yeah. And that's exactly the root of the issue, is that Social Security has not kept up with inflation. The cost of just about everything have gone up to the point where even if you were making ends meet before, it's so much harder now. And we don't want our older neighbors to have to choose between buying their groceries and getting their medicine that they need. And too many people are having to do that. So Reset is really a solution that we hope will help address that need.
And I hope people realize that that is an actual thing. That's not just like we either have to do this or that. It's a real situation.
Yes. And in everything that we do when we're addressing a need, we convene focus groups with older adults because we want to design solutions with them, not for them. And what we heard in focus groups with older residents was they don't want to have to go to multiple agencies to apply for different things or to receive services. A lot of these benefit programs require an online application. Well, maybe they're not comfortable on the computer. They don't have internet access. They need help with that.
Yeah.
We're trying to address those barriers that can often keep people from accessing the services and the benefit programs that are available to them.
When it comes to applying for things and getting online and filling out paperwork, it can get so confusing and so complicated that even somebody who's pretty computer literate and pretty savvy can just get lost. And especially if somebody doesn't have that, they didn't grow up with an iPhone or a tablet or something in their hands.
Yes, exactly. So we've really designed Reset to be a low-tech solution that is based on individual interactions with trusted organizations.
I love that.
Because the other thing that we need to talk about is there are so many scams today targeting older adults. And in the focus groups that we held, we heard people are very leery if a phone number pops up on their phone that they don't recognize. We tell them not to answer when we do our scam prevention talks. But people have learned, I don't know if this is somebody I can trust. And so there was a lot of concern about that. And the older adults told us, we want these services through organizations that we know we can trust. That's why we're partnering with United Way, NeedLink Nashville, 50 Forward, Tennessee Justice Center, organizations that have been around a long time, that do great work, and that people know they can trust. And we're even planning events in the community where we can do benefit eligibility screenings for people. And they can come and find out. We can do that on the phone as well. Just if they're curious to know, would I qualify for Medicare savings programs?
Yeah, right.
Do I qualify for SNAP to help me pay for groceries?
What is a Medicare savings program?
There's several programs under that, QMB, SlimB, a lot of acronyms that those of us in this work know. The bottom line is the Medicare savings programs can help pay for your Medicare copays and premiums. There are different income levels for the different programs that qualify as Medicare savings programs. There's also a low income subsidy that can help pay your prescription cost.
Wow.
So it's really important to reach out and get assistance from an organization that knows what the different income levels are to qualify, that knows what expenses you can deduct from your monthly income that may help you qualify, and then can help you with the application.
Wow, that is so important because until you get to a certain age where you start needing prescriptions, or more prescriptions, you don't realize how expensive it is. My husband, even before he hit 50, had to use, he has CSID. It's a congenital thing where his body doesn't handle sugar or starch. and there's only like one medicine for that, and it's at a special pharmacy. They have to formulate it. It's like $12,000 a year.
Wow.
$12,000.
Yes.
There's no way.
That's why it's so important to have prescription assistance programs available. And what we really hope people will take away from this conversation is Agewell Middle Tennessee is a trusted resource.
Yeah.
If you're looking for services, if you're a family caregiver caring for an aging loved one and you're not sure what your options are or where to find help, give us a call. Older adults will call us about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Whether they need transportation, they're a veteran wondering about services, they're looking for in-home assistance.
Yeah.
Or maybe they've just retired and they're looking for classes they can take, ways to stay engaged in the community.
Yes.
Opportunities to volunteer. We are an agency that can connect people with resources in their community.
And you were talking about a coach, an elder care coach.
Yes. I'm glad you asked. So, more of us today are caring for aging loved ones. My parents are both in their 80s, live in Franklin. My dad has Alzheimer's. I am helping support my mom as she cares for dad.
Yeah.
So many of us are juggling work and maybe raising children at the same time we're caring for aging loved ones. So Elder Care Coach is a new program that we launched a couple years ago to really help caregivers know there's a place you can call, and caregivers can schedule a free 30-minute phone consultation with an elder care coach. So these are master's level professionals who can help you figure out, based on your unique family situation, what you need and what the next steps are that you can take. Whether it's lining up in-home care, whether it's finding assisted living, whether it's lining up other services like transportation, somebody to help you navigate that maze and figure out what your best options are, and then connect you with the right organizations that can provide those services.
Because it's so easy for someone who's taking care of an elderly loved one to get overwhelmed and not even to think about, there may be some help. They just know I'm just keeping all these plates spinning all the time.
Absolutely.
But there might be help for you.
Absolutely. And the word you used is so perfect, overwhelmed. It is overwhelming when you're trying to figure out, oh my gosh, what's going on with mom, that she's fallen twice in the past month.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if she should be driving anymore because of maybe vision loss or something else, another medical condition that she's facing. Those are situations that caregivers are faced with every day. And so it's important to know where you can call and be able to talk to someone and say, this is what's going on. I have no idea what to do or what my options are. Can you help me figure that out?
Yeah.
And that's why we created Elder Care Coach. The exciting thing is that because of some grant funding that we have, in addition to employers who are partnering with us to offer Elder Care Coach as a benefit.
Oh, wow.
We are able to help caregivers and not charge them for those phone consultations. So we really encourage employers as well. The majority of caregivers of older adults today are working professionals.
Yeah.
So if you're an employer, it's important to talk about childcare, but it's equally important to talk about elder care and to be offering assistance to your employees who are likely dealing with both.
Yes, yes. And the elder care is something that we can find out about through Agewell, Middle Tennessee.
Yes, yes. Elder Care Coach is a program that we offer at Agewell.
Okay. There are apparently a whole lot of other things available that we have no idea that we can get help with.
I'm really pleased to introduce my colleague, Paula Daigle, who can tell you more about our directory of services, which is a really vital resource that we want older adults and caregivers throughout our area to know about.
Yeah.
Paula also does a lot of scam prevention education in the community, so she can tell you more about that.
Oh, good. Thank you. Grace Smith with Agewell, Middle Tennessee. Thank you.
Hi, Anne-Marie. I'm Paula Daigle with Age Well Middle Tennessee.
No, now you're speaking quietly.
And I'm the Community Engagement Director.
That's better.
I'm the Community Engagement Director at Age Well Middle Tennessee.
Well, thank you for joining us.
I'm glad to be here today, and I'd love to tell you about my directory of services, our directory of services.
I would love to hear it.
The directory is kind of a great resource for our community. It's kind of like the Yellow Pages of old. It's all the information in one place for older adults and family caregivers. There's information on activities because we want our older adults to stay involved in our community. Information all the way from housing options, what to look for when you're doing housing, health and insurance, where to call for questions, possibly things to get help with. There's information for a chapter on veterans, a chapter on transportation. All those things that older adults or family caregivers might need in their caregiving journey are there in the book. We're very proud of the book. It started over 50 years ago as a graduate project at Fisk University. Some students created it because they saw the need.
Whoa.
And it has expanded today to something that Age Well has taken on. We publish about 30,000 copies. We love it. Social workers tell me it's their Bible because everything they need to help a client is in that book.
Wow.
But for older adults and family caregivers, sometimes you just don't have time to turn on the computer, or you're wanting to drive around town and look at assisted livings. This book, you can take notes. It's kind of that old-fashioned pen and paper,
yes,
which a lot of us, including myself, still like.
Yeah. I know one place in particular that we could have used help recently was the health marketplace, the health insurance marketplace. Right. We're like, I don't know. They were sending out information like, do you need this? Can you get a better deal? And we were like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
And that's a tricky one. And there are several agencies in town. Health Assist Tennessee, which is housed at Family and Children's Service, is a great one that helps people with the marketplace.
That's good to know.
It's called Health Assist. They're in the directory. And they're a great resource for people who are looking in the marketplace. If you're an older adult looking for Medicare options, there's SHIP, which is the state health insurance program, and it is run through the Area Agency on Aging. And that helps older adults look at Medicare programs and Medicare plans to see which one is best for them.
Oh, wow.
And that's also available information. Their phone number and website are in the directory as well.
Okay, so you put the phone number and website, so whichever way you want to get in touch, you can.
Yes, because some people still want the old-fashioned call them on the phone. And some people want to do. So our directory is also available online. It's available free at the public libraries throughout the Middle Tennessee area. A new edition will be coming out at the end of January, beginning of February for 25. But online, you can go to our website at www.agewelltn.org. And the directory is also available online. So if you're more comfortable or like to search online, that is available online on our website.
agewelltn.org.
Yep.
Okay. Do you find that there are specific things that families who have an elderly person in their lives, anything in particular that seems to be the big thing?
The big topics that I find right now are affordable housing.
Oh.
Either their landlord, if they are renting, their landlord's raising their rent.
Whoa.
Or if they're owning their home, they just can't live alone and might need some assistance. So those are big items, as well as in-home assistance, someone to maybe possibly come in and do meals or to sit with an aging parent who while the caregiver goes to work. So those are probably the two prime topics that I feel like people are looking for right now.
And what would they look under in the directory?
Housing. We have a whole chapter on housing that has information from subsidized housing to assisted living and nursing homes to individually owned homes. Some older adults are moving to the area and want to buy a home. There are some 55-plus communities here in the Nashville area. In terms of looking for in-home care, it's the chapter's called Help at Home.
Help at Home.
And it's got agencies that provide those services, as well as information on smart technology that could possibly help your older adult in their home, home repairs, home modifications. All that would be in the Help at Home chapter.
What about technology? Can you delve into that just a little bit?
There's a lot of technology being developed. Alexa is one of those. Alexa and the Echoes, those technology pieces have it where they can talk to your older adult, or you can set up reminders on there, maybe a medication reminder. So there's lots of new technologies that are becoming interactive that a family can set up, or an older adult on their own can set up to help them. And there's lots of everyday new technologies, fall detections. Did they open the fridge today? all those there's lots of technology. I really encourage families to research and check safety precautions, because we all know that there's a lot of different new things out there with AI and things, and we need to make sure they're legitimate. So really, if you want to use technology in your home, is to really make sure you do your research and you vet any kind of business you would let to come in the home and set that up for your families.
I know that older people tend to be a big target for scammers and spammers and people who are trying to get information and get money. What would we look up in there to find something that could help us or help somebody we love?
There's lots of good information in the financial and consumer chapter about fraud and where to look. But AgeWell also does. We have a great scam prevention program. I do talks in the community. We have a brochure that's got a lot of information on terms of what scams are out there, how to avoid them, and if you are scammed, what to do. I think that's really important. We also do a Scam of the Month email where we send out, we kind of research what the latest scam is, and we send that email once a month just so people can be aware and kind of remind them of what's happening out there in terms of the scams. And that's a free service we offer as well.
Yeah.
And the scams are also available on our website. We'll have those past ones that we've notified as scams, and they're on our website as well.
Now, you said something like how to spot one and then what to do if you've been scammed.
Yes.
Give us some of that info, would you?
How to spot scams. I mean, the old saying, if it's too good to be true, it's probably is too good to be true.
Yeah.
Also things like mail coming in that you didn't ask for. If someone calls you about your Social Security or your Medicare card or wanting to change your plans, Social Security and Medicare are not going to call you. They're not going to call you.
Right.
I get a call once a month from the IRS saying they're coming to arrest me, and it's the same little man that calls me. And that's a scam. The IRS is not going to call me. The police are not going to call you to say you didn't show up for jury duty and you owe money. That's a big one that's happening right now. So any of those things that are really, the scammers are wanting to scare us.
Yeah.
They know that the IRS, the government, the police, that scares us. Nobody likes the IRS. So it's important to remember to take a deep breath, to hang up. If you get a call that's Social Security or Medicare or the police department, hang up and call the numbers you know, because more than likely the call you're getting is a scammer trying to get you to give information to them. If you are scammed, if it's a financial or a dangerous situation, you need to notify the police. There's also the federal government has some new websites that they're really trying to get a handle on the scammers, that you can report scams and let them know about scams so they can be watching. I would definitely, if you are scammed, let your bank and your credit card accounts know.
Yeah.
Because inadvertently you may have given information that you didn't realize you had given to them.
Or information that enabled them to get that.
Yes, correct.
I think a lot of times that elderly people tend to be embarrassed if they get taken, and they don't.
A lot of people don't want their families or don't want their community, their close-knit community to know. But I always tell them when I speak to them, it's really important to share that information because you are helping others know what to look out for.
Yeah.
So your friend, your church mates, your neighbors are not falling for the same scams.
Yeah.
We need to share what we're hearing, the phone calls we're getting. And I know older adults tell me they don't want to tell their adult children because they're worried the adult children are going to fuss at them or say they can't live on their own.
True.
But I tell adult children, really make sure you're having those conversations with your parents because all of us are falling for scams, not just older people. So it's something we need to talk about. We need to talk about. AI is a new one. I've told my parents. They are getting our kids' voices off of social media and using them and their stuff about us on the internet and connecting. So you may get a phone call, the grandparent scheme, Grandma, Grandpa, I need money, I'm in trouble, don't tell my parents. And it may be the actual voice of your grandchild on the phone. Isn't that frightening?
Yeah.
So I've told my parents, really make sure that if you get that, hang up and call. Call them, call me, because more than likely that scammer is just... Everybody loves their grandchildren and wants to help their grandchildren. Sure. So older adults, like we need to talk about this. We need to talk about as a society scams and not judge people. It is very easy to fall. It is so challenging with the technology we have today. We're still getting the old scammers of people knocking on people's doors saying, well, I'll rake your leaves or fix this for you. And give them a little bit of money and they're gone. So
we were in the neighborhood.
Yes.
We have some leftover stuff from Fred's driveway down the road. It's like, Fred who? I know everybody in this neighborhood.
Or we're doing windows and your neighbors have agreed to this contract. They're all getting new windows. You need to sign. And those are scammers. So it's really important for all of us, no matter what age, from teenagers on to older adults, to really talk about scams, how to recognize them, and share the phone calls, share the information so we can all fight this together.
Years ago, parents had to have the talk with their kids, like the birds and the bees. This is how things work. But now the kids, as adults, need to have the talk with their parents about how things work in the scam world, in the fraud, in the phishing, in the catfishing, and all of that. And make sure that their parents have the information they need to survive.
Exactly.
Do older people tend to fall for scams more if they're more isolated?
Yes, that is a huge issue. A big sign of being scammed is being home alone and isolated. They're going to answer the phone. They're going to answer the door because they're lonely. It's someone to talk to, and the scammers know that. And so they get them on the phone. They befriend them. They start talking to them, and eventually they establish a relationship, and they keep calling, and they keep calling, and they are able to scam them because this older adult is isolated and alone. So that's why it's really important as a community for us to have ways for our older adults to stay active, whether it be at a community center, whether it being volunteering at schools. We need to find ways to keep our older adults active. A lot of them want to be active, but transportation can be an issue, other things. But it's really important to avoid scammers is to be around other people. Mm-hmm. That is a big component of not being scammed, is not being isolated.
And that's part of what Age Well Middle Tennessee has been doing, trying to help people not be isolated, trying to help them get where they can get the services they need and the social interaction that they need, things like that.
Yes, we have some great opportunities in our community, and we need to recognize them and to let people know what they are, and to be supportive of our older adults as they want to be part of our community. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we silo people. Oh, there's the teenagers, there's the middle people, and there's the older adults. I'm seeing in lots of other cities, they're creating intergenerational spaces so that we can all benefit from the experiences and the knowledge across the generations. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's really important to remember in our community, is that to include our older adults in our thoughts as we're planning for the city. As Nashville has changed tremendously, let's not forget the folks who made the city what it is.
And Age Well Middle Tennessee advocates for that, for the intergenerational spaces.
Yeah, we advocate for older adults in all spaces of our community. We really feel like our older adults bring such a sense of community, a sense of history, just a fun atmosphere. We have some really fun older adults we interact with that they're learning new things. They're playing cards. They're dancing. The image of older adults as that frail, old, up, fallen, and can't get up is no longer the norm.
True.
As we're all living longer, we're healthier longer, we're wanting to be part of our community longer, we're working longer. And as a community, we need to embrace that and celebrate our older adults wanting to give back to our community.
And take advantage of the knowledge that they have and the experience that they have.
Exactly.
That you just can't gain until you live a few years.
Exactly.
So, Paula Daigle with Age Well Middle Tennessee, what else do you feel is important for people to know? What have I neglected to ask that you would like to add?
I feel like just to let everybody know, the older adults are our fastest growing population, not only in America, right here in Tennessee. And as all of us are aging, we want to age well, and we want to be part of the community. So really respecting and looking at ways we can incorporate all ages into our community so that we can all help to continue to make Nashville the great place it is.
I'm glad that you mentioned 50 or older, because I think at whatever age we are, we think, well, older people than older people, they may need some help, but I don't. I've got it figured out. So I'm glad that you mentioned that there are things for people 50 and older, so they don't just go down this path of becoming isolated and becoming stuck in a situation that's not affordable for them, and stuck in a system that they've set up because they don't know any better, and they haven't gotten help from Age Well Middle Tennessee or one of the resources that you guys can help us come up with.
You're right on, Amory.
So let's start early.
Start early. Start planning for the future. And let's make Nashville the city we want to be as we age.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So we heard from Grace Smith and then Paula Daigle from Agewell, Middle Tennessee. We're going to put links and more information up on the Focus Facebook page. Make sure you join us again next week, please. I'm Anna Marie, and that's Focus.